Hello, welcome to a new video. It's a bit of a different one today because I'm actually filming this on World Thyroid Day. I realised it has been 5 years since I did my hypothyroid disease story video to sort of raise awareness as it's International Thyroid Awareness Week. I do find these videos difficult and I didn't rewatch that video. I know it's an emotional one. So I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. If you go and watch that one, ideally, I suppose really it would be a good idea to watch that one first because I think I chat a bit more about what the symptoms are and everything like that, and perhaps more about what to look out for. But I thought I'd just do a little update. Yeah, these videos are tricky because on the one hand, there are people going through so much worse illnesses that are much more difficult to handle than mine. But also at the same time, I think sometimes it is important to talk about these things, partly so that if you're watching this and you have hypothyroid disease, then hopefully you'll feel less alone. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then hopefully it will make you aware that actually probably a lot of people around you have this. It's more common than you'd think. It's really funny, I belong to a book club. There's 8 of us in the book club, and is it 3 or 4? 4 of us have a thyroid disease one way or another. So that's a really strong percentage. And also more than half of those with a thyroid disease are unaware of their condition. So again, it's worth spreading the word in case your life could actually be made better with some medication. So yeah, I should have mentioned this straight away. I have hypothyroid disease, which is an underactive thyroid gland, which means I don't produce enough of that hormone. It's an autoimmune disease, and which means my body thinks it's being attacked when it isn't. In this case, that means everything sort of slows down, shuts down to try and help you survive, even though you didn't need it in the first place. So I am on a medication called thyroxine, which does help. It certainly does help, and I know it does because when I'm very ill with a cold or flu or whatever, and I'm just not getting enough of it, I'm reminded of what I used to be like before I was on the medication. But just like many people I've spoken to personally and people on the internet, unfortunately it's very difficult to sometimes get the correct medication that your body needs, or you're just not prescribed enough, or there are other complications or issues that are just not picked up on. For example, I only recently, or relatively recently, found out that I also have a vitamin B12 deficiency. The doctors thought at first it might be pernicious anemia. I think that's when your red blood cells are an odd shape. I think I have enough red blood cells, but they're just not big enough or something like that. Anyway, so there's that as well, which also makes me tired. And tiredness is my main issue I struggle with, as well as weight gain, which is very frustrating and mostly out of my control. So that's why I thought I would do this picture of me lying on a bed of heather fast asleep to illustrate the fact that I'm tired all the time. And it seems such a small thing. I'm just tired, but you're never at your best when you're tired, are you? You're never quite on things as well as you might be otherwise. So it is a struggle. And I think since the last video I made, it's been a bit up and down. I think since that video initially I was feeling a lot better, but I think for the last 3 years or so I've not been feeling great actually. My awake times, and the times when I am actually feeling okay, I think I'm feeling better than normal, but the times where I'm feeling tired are worse than normal, and I think perhaps more frequent. And I realised recently, I was thinking about this, that I need to change my attitude towards this hypothyroidism, because I've realised in the past 17 years or so that I've had it, I've been doing 3 things. Either 1, pretending I don't have anything wrong with me and trying to carry on as usual. 2, fighting it, thinking things like if I increase my fitness, I'll stop being exhausted after every activity. Or if I can just push through, I'll be able to stay awake all day and carry on working. Or 3, waiting to get better. This is an odd one, a really irrational one, but there's sort of this imaginary future where I'm fine, and my real life, the one I imagined I'd have, the one with energy, can begin. Either because of some miracle cure or I just get better, which I know is completely won't happen because it is a chronic illness. You just don't get better. So I tend to live in an up and down cycle. I'm generally enthusiastic about something like a holiday or getting the garden sorted or a room decorated or something like that. And I do it, and then it's like a surprise every time. It takes me a week or more to recover my energy. And I get cross and frustrated because in my head I'm ready to get on with the next thing I want to do. And I think I can do it, and then inevitably I get depressed when it turns out that I can't. So it's time for acceptance and reframing my attitude to being tired. I had started working on this sort of last year, actually, but I still forget. I'm still forgetful about this thing. That's another symptom, is forgetfulness. It's odd. You see, summer of 2021, sorry, that summer, Chris and I had about 5 days in Oxford to celebrate our anniversary at the end of the summer. And it was lovely. We wanted to go back and we couldn't fit it in last year. And then I saw that we had a bit of space in December, and it was my idea to go again. And this was a week before Christmas and 3 days before I had friends coming around, and I really, really needed to give the house a thorough clean before they did. It's somehow in my mind I thought this would be fine, completely forgetting that the previous year it took me over a week to recover from that 5-day trip to Oxford. I mean, it's just madness. I just don't seem to remember these issues that I have. I don't know why. I'm also trying to let go of some of the guilt I feel whenever my family want help with something or want to go out somewhere and do something. I think they sometimes see my reluctance to do it as not wanting to or can't be bothered to. But I usually do want to do things with them. But either I'm too tired at the time, or I sort of have to protect my energy so that I know I'll have it for something that's happening like a few days after or whatever. And it just, like, how many times can you say I'm sorry, I'm too tired, before it just sounds like an excuse? And I feel like this guilt is going to be quite hard to work on. It also upsets me when Chris thinks I'm not happy. He's mentioned it a couple of times, and my reply is always, I am happy, I'm just tired. Because when you think about it, ordinarily a person shows that they're happy in physical ways. You can tell because they are animated, talkative, their whole presence is energized and uplifted. So even if I feel like clapping or skipping, but instead I'm just quiet and still, I mean, it's no wonder people might think I'm sad. And yeah, that upsets me and leads me to more guilt. But if I haven't got the energy to join in, then there's just nothing I can do about it. And as the saying goes, if you can't change it, you have to let it go, or something like that. So that's definitely something for me to work on. But I am doing better at reframing the way I feel about being tired. So this might help if you're watching this and you also have some sort of chronic tiredness condition. I've made a list of everything I enjoy doing when I have no energy. And in those times, I will focus on those things. And then hopefully my mental state will move from frustration and negative thoughts to a more positive mind frame. And I'm hoping that this will come automatically eventually. So yeah, art is one of those things. And that's why I've been adding more time to paint and draw into my life in the last couple of years. And it's something I really am passionate about. I really enjoy doing it. So if I sort of wake up in the morning and I'd planned to, I don't know, we are sort of gradually renovating our house. So like say I'd imagined I might declutter the kitchen or sort boxes out ready to get a room sorted or paint the walls in a bedroom or something like that. And then it turns out that there's no way I can manage something like that. instead of getting down about it, I'm really going to try and switch that around. Think, oh, well, good, that means I can just sit and paint all day. And then hopefully that will help me not feel down every time I get tired. Well, anyway, that's a little bit about my story and how I'm coping with it at the moment. But one of the points of this video is to raise awareness in case you might have a thyroid condition that you didn't realise about. And sometimes it is not easy to persuade the doctor. You know, you go in and say, well, I've gained weight inexplicably and I'm tired all the time. It's sometimes hard to convince a doctor that there is actually a medical reason for that. It helps your case if there are other people in the family with an autoimmune disease. There are quite a few of them, so do look up a list of autoimmune diseases to see if there are any in the family. So there are other symptoms as well, like dry skin and hair loss and brain fog. That's the other one I'm terrible with. I can just lose my train of thought so easily and forget what I'm saying, forget what I'm doing. So that's a little bit frustrating and embarrassing in social situations. I can never remember things. It's a bit embarrassing. So that's something I'm also having to get over, trying to think, oh, who cares what people think? If people think you're stupid, let them think you're stupid. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So mine is when my thyroid gland doesn't produce enough thyroid hormone, but you can also have hyperthyroid disease, which is an overactive thyroid gland, and the symptoms are the opposite. Increased heartbeat, anxiety and irritability and that sort of thing, and having too much energy, which also can lead to problems. Then there's Hashimoto's, thyroiditis and Graves' disease as well. So do a bit of Googling, have a look at reputable sites like the NHS website if you think you might be one of those undiagnosed people. And if not, then just, I suppose this is also a reminder to be kind to people. I know it's a bit of a cliche. You don't know what people are going through. If someone says they're too tired to come out, it might not just be an excuse. So don't take that personally either. And not all disabilities and issues and problems are visible. And that goes obviously for many, many illnesses and mental illnesses as well. Okay, well, so I'm sorry this isn't a cheery video, but I feel like every now and then I should mention it. I hope you've enjoyed watching the little watercolour painting, and I will see you again very soon for a back to normal video. Take care everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye.